All right, so someone found Bigfoot in the Adirondacks, and the DNA results are disturbing. All right, let's check it out.
Bigfoot hunter claims that he's found Bigfoot corpse. And actually, I think this is evidence for the Nephilim, apparently, if this is legit. This is crazy. It's a hybrid from Neanderthal to human beings. So let's get into it, guys. This is crazy.
Does Bigfoot really exist?
This is
now
crazy.
There is a man called Snake the Bigfoot Hunter who claims he has found actual Bigfoot remains.
Where did he find this? This is crazy. Is this legit?
8 foot, 300-pound body in his possession. He's even nicknamed it.
Look at that. He took a picture with it right there.
Snake says he found the remains in the Adirondack Mountains in 2024, even put them on display at last.
So why are we just hearing about it, but it was from 2024?
All right, yeah, you're already getting on my nerves.
But here's the wild part. Snake claims he sent the specimen for DNA testing, that the results showed the body has 58.5% Neanderthal DNA and 41.5% human DNA. Snake says,
is it some type of hybrid?
Those tests from Cornell's veterinary DNA lab prove that this creature is a Neanderthal-human hybrid. Now, the Adirondack
Neanderthal-human hybrid. So wait a minute. He sent it into Cornell to get tested. Is there legitimately proof for this?
Have been known to be a hotspot for Bigfoot.
That's what they were saying earlier, guy. I mean, they were talking about that this had been DNA tested. That was the results they came back with. But now, further on, he alludes to the fact that they sent this stuff out to, like, you know, they got all kinds of samples and sent it out to other places. But I don't think he really said too much more about what the results of that was.
Or Sasquatch sightings, but there are a lot of skeptics out there questioning Snake's discovery. So we decided, let's go to the source. Charles Stewart, better known as Snake the Bigfoot Hunter, joins me now. He's also the author of the Bigfoot Bible. Thank you so much for taking the time. First, how did you find these remains, and what made you think initially this could be Bigfoot's remains?
Well, you know, I found it west of Old Fort Central Adirondack Park, and the reason I found it was just being in the right area where I could smell it, because this body was decaying.
Wow.
And I just followed my nose deeper and deeper and deeper until, bam, there's this 8-foot-long, 300-pound specimen in front of me, and this thing was sitting in a poison ivy patch and just was absolutely disgusting. And
what? Sitting in a poison ivy. Why am I just hearing about this now? This is from 2024. Oh my goodness.
See?
We figured out this was dead probably about 2 days when we...
Why isn't this like big news? They've had every opportunity to like multiple test this thing. All right. So why is this now just in the news being talked about and is kind of still a speculation type thing? They still are like eluding the fact that they don't know for sure. That's what bothers me. That tells me there's something going on here that they know that they're not telling us.
Yeah, when I found this specimen, okay? And what was interesting is next to this body were some larger footprints. And after speaking to a couple other experts, we determined that one of the causes of this specimen's death was probably from getting bludgeoned to death by a larger Bigfoot. So,
which makes sense, is because a lot of people have testimony of them picking up like big sticks and logs and stuff, and they like banging them against the trees as like some sort of communication or whatever, like what chimps do. Bigfooter claim to do that. They're also claimed to throwing rocks a lot of times.
So
what the? I'm getting freaked out right now. I'm going to look up some more stuff about this, because let me know if you heard about this. This is 8 feet.
So two.
Yeah, absolutely. And this could have been over.
Okay, I didn't catch that before, but I was wondering with the size of that thing. So he was measured at 8 feet, which goes along with typical Bigfoot sightings, 7 to 8 feet tall.
For territory or mating. We believe it was probably due to mating because this is a male specimen we have, and this was around 18 to 20 year range, and we figured that out by the dental decay. How much?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. This DNA testing, what exactly was the testing, and what was it done on? The hair, teeth, soft tissue? What exactly?
All of it.
Yeah, we had blood, hair, and fecal matter, and we just submitted it all and got that done through a friend of mine who worked.
This is like the golden ticket for all Bigfoot hunters. You have it all. He is able to have every speck of it tested. Since I was a kid, the most they were ever able to seem to find is like maybe a strand of hair, a little, things like that. And when they do tests, it's always inconclusive. We got a freaking body right here. We still don't know, or they're not telling us.
At the Cornell Veterinarian BioDNA lab, and the results came back, as you mentioned, 58.5% Neanderthal / Denisovan, and that I had to do a little bit of research myself to figure out exactly what was going on. But the Denisovan is a Asian kind of Neanderthal. It's mixed with 41.5% human, and some of that's indigenous. So at some point they did cross over the Bering Land Strait and have been in the Americas. So what we have there is, a very dangerous, aggressive. We know they attack each other, and they could definitely attack and hurt humans for sure.
Do you know how long it's been dead for?
He already told you.
It was dead about 2 days.
He said it was dead for about 2 days. I'm having a hard time believing this, but it looks so crazy. Or they could easily have made this a prop.
But it's not a prop. They tested the DNA of it, guy. I mean, this is an actual body. It's on display.
Right? Like, couldn't they? Like, they barely show the face. All right, so the Bigfoot DNA tested. Man claims he's found. See, like, this is getting all over now, apparently.
When I found
2 days. So wait a second. Let me. So you think it was attacked by another Bigfoot 2 days prior? In other words, there's another living Bigfoot in that area?
Yeah, and I mean, we call them Bigfoot, but, these are like Neanderthal human hybrid. And there's another one that attacked this one. And, one of the interesting things we found on our specimen, which we showed to 60,000 people, was this reproductive bone. And that's an anomaly that the Bigfoot has that is also in polar bears. And these are adaptations that allow us to procreate in an aggressive way. And that leads us to think that they don't actually form families.
Look at this.
They're very nomadic. If they do it.
Yeah, look at the face right there. That looks like a nomad face if ever I saw one. But particularly interesting about that bone that they found. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but, you can figure it out. But they said polar bears also have that. So this way they can, without too much worry or concern, it'll always be ready.
Engaged just for that aggressive procreation, and then they go their separate ways. So
did you send this to a forensic anthropologist, or did a forensic anthropologist look at these remains?
So right now we've had the DNA test done. I've been trying to get more people to actually be in person with the body. I did get a documentary team came and peer reviewed the DNA, and this is a documentary team from Japan, and they filmed the whole a little movie on this, and they have released it there, and I have snippets of it on our website. And then what was really great is at the showing of this the first time. There was the Six Nation Indian tribes of New York, the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Tuscarora, and Seneca tribes. They came by and looked at the body, and they left and came back and gave me an award. They had came in and immediately identified it as a Bigfoot, as a bark eater, which is another name for Adirondack up there. So
there's
been like
never heard that one.
Verifications across different paths, and we're trying to get as much people to see this thing as possible.
Have you got any other mainstream verifications, any recognition from more of the major bodies or experts?
We're looking to get some additional people involved with the body. It's been an uphill battle, and
why they don't believe it?
Well, Bigfoot has been considered kind of taboo and stuff. It's the thing is, this is a global phenomenon. This Bigfoot have been experienced or encountered globally. Okay, but it's still, as you know, with what happened with UFOs, that was considered fringe until it's not. So we are literally punching our way through wall after wall, getting this information out there, and
it's literally a human hybrid. What they're claiming. I've never seen any picture like this. Why am I just seeing it now? It's like there is an unveiling going on.
There really is.
In the world?
The main thing I'm trying to tell people is you got to be careful when you're going out there into the wilderness.
Or grab a camera, because my gosh, look.
That is crazy. Look at that.
What is he doing to preserve it? I mean, is he already embalmed it? I wonder.
Is that real?
It wouldn't be surprising to me if there's now a Sasquatch committee on Congress. I mean, look, UAPs, UFOs, extraterrestrials. Snake, you might be ahead of something here.
Hey, there are towns. I don't even know the name of the towns or whatever, but I know there are towns here in America that forbid you shooting a Bigfoot, just in case the event that they actually exist.
I appreciate you coming on and sharing it with our audience.
So, Bigfoot testing forensics. So this guy, forensic expert, reveals what's really possible. So, is this legit?
There is so much interest in this topic. It's kind of like the UFO, UAP discussion. Bigfoot. Okay? Bigfoot. I want to just provide a little context, Joseph, before.
Please do.
Okay?
Yeah.
By the way, have you ever talked about Bigfoot before?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not till this very moment.
This is good. We just throw him in the mix, but he's an expert on all things, and I think it's important because the evidence here is going to be significant. So, people have been talking about, arguing about, trying to hunt down Bigfoot for centuries. There are some even claiming they have evidence, footprints, handprints, DNA, and we're going to follow that evidence to see if there is legitimate proof that Bigfoot exists. And again, I'm not only going to have Joseph on, but we got something else that we have to talk about, okay? So the reason we're talking about Bigfoot is we have a very special guest tonight, right? So when you think about Bigfoot and the myth and everything in between, there's this guy. His name is Charles Stewart. He's also called Snake the Bigfoot Hunter. I'm not kidding you. Snake the Bigfoot Hunter claims he got Morgan Joseph. Good to see you. Look, you created a specialization about analyzing evidence from human bodies. If you're going to look at this seems a little different, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd have to say that it is, because what you're talking about, I think at the baseline, what we have to think about here, he's saying that this gentleman has confirmation from a school of veterinary medicine that you have a combination that lists toward Neanderthal. Some people refer to it as Neanderthal.
I was going to do that, and then I
hate it when they started doing that.
Our Homo sapien, and we do in our lineage.
I remember when they first started doing that. It was on a Discovery Channel documentary about the Neanderthal. That's when it was. My wife and I were like, why are they calling it that? I thought it was just somebody just being stupid that was the narrator for the thing. But no, that's how they actually want it pronounced now, which is stupid.
Going back, thousands and thousands of years, there was crossbreeding between the two species. Okay. And that's confirmatory. All right. That really lists, though, toward this idea of this Neanderthal sampling. There's more significant there than there is human. So that leads me to believe, following the science, you begin to think, well, there has to be a very large population in order to facilitate that, I would think, that would have significant pre-human DNA that's out there that is continuing to breed. All right. That's just my initial hot take on it.
So you're hot. So just to be clear, let's say this is real. Is there one or there's multiple?
There
one
would
that's been around for or
no, there would have to be multiple. You'd have to have a clutch of them that are continuing to breed.
Okay.
I don't think that there are any humans out there breeding with these. Well, we may have heard about that. And let me throw in one more little bit of trivia here.
Would you really?
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. But
that time at the bar, I mean,
hey, we can't count out Arkansas. You never know with those guys. Just kidding, Arkansas. I used to live right next to you. Y'all are good.
I know.
Regretting what happened.
Those lights really dimmed down at closing.
9-foot Neanderthal the other night.
This is interesting because you were talking about kind of these legends that are everywhere. I'm from Louisiana originally.
Yeah.
And so there is a long-standing history of a creature that's referred to as the Rougarou. And
the what?
The Rougarou.
What's
and
that?
It comes from
the
Cajun
Rougarou.
French. I don't know how it translates, but it's been around. And there are stories that are told about this. And this creature lives in the swamps and is very similar to,
just like the skunk ape and so many others. They're all variations of the same thing.
The Yeti to Bigfoot, to Sasquatch, all of these presentations. I don't know the histrionics behind the Rougarou relative to did this descend down from Native American lore or not. My big question, though, scientifically, though, is I would want to take a look, first off, at the hair. To try to understand the composition of the hair, the morphology of the hair of this creature.
Why doesn't he just let someone look at the body then? Like, if he really thinks it's legit, have someone check it out. Instead of just making claims.
That has been floating about that was displayed. There is a significant amount of hair there that was tested. If this school did in fact test it, I wonder if they did this relative to
they keep going if and this kid would like, you need to get it tested or let somebody look at it. The guy has it in a freaking case and he just said he's has it open to the public and stuff. I really think that this is like information that they really just don't want to get out too much. Because I'm telling you, they're claiming like prehistoric man kind of stuff. I'm talking about something more ancient. Something that tried to corrupt our DNA once before. And that's the Nephilim. All right. This may very well be an actual Nephilim is what we're looking at. Or a variation of, because there was all different types, man. It said in the Bible that these angels were perverse. They were not only, mating with females and stuff, but they were having sex with animals and stuff too.
Taking the hair shaft. We talk about this in crime, don't we, Jesse? We're talking about DNA and how we're going to test if it's degraded. Did they get a tooth? Is there a tooth that was left behind in a skull? Mm-hmm. Did they go into a long bone? Or was there any soft tissue left? I'm fascinated by that. I want to know the sourcing of this testing. And this goes back to taking a look at this through an investigative lens. You have to work this as if this is a death, just like we would work it at a medical examiner or coroner's office and take all of the sample that you can and, run it through the system and see what happens.
I mean, the body probably did decompose, right? But
yeah, it was already dead laying there in the forest for 2 days before this guy even stumbled across it. It was already about ripe. Okay, it doesn't take long. But it's been 2 years since this. Why are we not hearing anything about it other than from News Nation?
2024. How are they keeping this body alive? In the freezer?
I mean, it does become a question what would be left behind and what has not been left behind in the past. I do wonder, we talk about this too, if you take all this as true, the environments in which alleged Bigfoot or Sasquatch is inhabiting, those are complicated environments where you leave behind evidence that might not be easily collectible, right? I mean, it's not like Bigfoot's in a metropolitan city. It's these kind of like, these wooded areas, these foresty areas. would you even find any of this evidence? If anybody out there was a legitimate Bigfoot hunter and trying to find evidence, trying to find biological material, imagine it'd be difficult.
Well, yeah, I think that it would be, because you're going to come across all manner of things out there. First off, you would find tufts of hair deposited, because these beasts are supposed to be covered in hair. You would find hair sample that would just be laying around. And forgive me, I'm going to be a little graphic here. You would find scat, which is waste product, that would be about this area. And then you would have, of course, they're going to have some kind of societal connection between themselves. So you begin to think about environments, right? Do they have a need for fire? Do they have need for shelter? You think about Maslow's hierarchy. We look at it from a human standpoint, those basic needs that we have. Do these creatures actually have needs like that? Do they?
I have never heard of any recollection of any story where a Bigfoot is around like a campfire or walking around it with a torch or whatever. No, they're like a bear in that regard. They got hair and stuff. They don't need a warm, cozy fire, man. They're already built for it.
Mate for life. Do they have offspring?
Not to mention the fact that they might be a little supernatural too. So there's that.
These sorts of things.
That's
so
crazy.
If you're looking at this from a forensic standpoint or from an anthropological,
now we need to look at the scientific rigor and skepticism.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
How skeptical should we be about even the more recent sightings or potential sightings and what people saw and heard, experienced?
The skepticism is the watchword here, and because there have been people for years and years that have put this out there, that these creatures do in fact exist. Scientifically, you need to have this demonstrated. I'm sure that there are people that are involved in physical anthropology that have an interest in this sort of thing. You'd be surprised academically what's out there. And if there was something out there, okay, that was found consistently, you would have probably pretty renowned physical anthropologists that would be doing papers about this all over the place. They would be presenting this at academic conferences and just talking. We'd have textbooks. They teach classes on this. And to date, and I might be wrong, I don't know, but to date, I haven't seen that present in academia, if you will.
But this guy right here claims he found Bigfoot remains.
The legend of Bigfoot is huge throughout our area. The state ranks, Michigan does, among the top in the nation for reported Bigfoot sightings, with more than 220 encounters
732 in Washington
Field Researchers
State.
Organization database. Yes, that's a thing. Most of those reports come from the UP and the northern Lower Peninsula. And now a man known simply as Snake the Bigfoot Hunter claims he has found what he believes is the first scientifically verified Bigfoot specimen. A claim that has both drawn attention and skepticism. So he is sharing his story in a new book and taking the exhibit on tour. So to get to the bottom of all this, we have Snake the Bigfoot Hunter himself.
He's Indiana Jones's brother-in-law or something. Snake the Bigfoot Hunter.
To talk about this discovery and the evidence
He's
that you
going
say
on
supported.
tour with
All
it.
right, now is your chance.
Wait, I wanna
what have
see.
you found?
A stank, and I wound up following my nose, and that's when I
So
found
he has
this
it on-
8-foot long,
on display.
300-pound Bigfoot specimen.
Wow.
And this thing has completely changed my life. Just the whole process of getting this out of the woods, getting it taxidermied, getting the DNA brought to labs. Now, I got kicked out of a few labs and trying to get proper blood work and stuff done at specialty labs is extremely expensive. So it was a miracle I was able to get this done at the Cornell lab. And the results draw so many different conclusions about our history and evolution.
This is
And
crazy.
it's drawn,
Looks kinda deflated,
obviously,
don't it?
skepticism from a lot of religious organizations who believe we're all made in the eye of God. So we're getting a backlash.
I don't know. How does that... Man, what if it confirms the Nephilim origin this whole time?
That's what I'm saying. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I should have one of those little bell triangles or something, because that's it right there. You hit it right there, kid.
The sons of God came down and started mating with the daughters of men and created this Nephilim hybrid.
From people who have preconceived notions on what Bigfoot could be, and also people who just flat out disbelieve because they believe that we're part of God's divine plan. Okay, well, let me tell you, we are just one of many things.
It's crazy.
So the specimen that we were just seeing video of,
I don't
you
think
found that dead body somewhere in Michigan?
No, this is in Adirondack Park in upstate New York.
Okay.
Upstate New York.
And we plan on bringing this body over to Michigan later this fall. We're trying to share it with as many people as we can because this thing is groundbreaking. And as you mentioned in the opener, there are a lot of sightings in Michigan as well.
Yeah.
And we're seeing different types of body type and different types of hair patterning depending on where you are in the states. So it's a fascinating kind of phenomenon
This
we're
is
dealing
crazy.
with here.
All right. So
and also not to mention the fact that we live in the age of the internet now. Okay, what this guy's showing and stuff with the pictures and videos and the footage and stuff. I mean, we don't have to rely on the government for that part. We'll find out ourselves. There's internet sleuths all over there, and it has not come up as you haven't heard anything about this whole story being shot down yet. It's already been 2 years. It's been out there. But for whatever reason, it's just now kind of seeming to kind of like hit some ears right now.
you're going to take this on tour, on exhibit. I'm assuming that you're anticipating running into people who believe and a whole lot of skeptics.
Yeah, you know what? There are people out there who put a lot of investment in that Patterson-Gimlin film.
I want to know.
All right, so you'd
Where's
think by
the
now
proof?
we could definitively prove whether Bigfoot once existed, is still roaming, or is just
Where's
folklore.
the proof?
I still believe that video. I do. There's just too many things pointing to that video right there that it looks real. And for 1967, there's just no way you can tell me that was a suit. They filmed something.
Charles Stewart, a.k.a. Snake the Bigfoot Hunter, says he has proof that the hairy creature was or might still be among us. He's also the author of the Bigfoot Bible, and he joins us now. All right, Charles, so you claim to
This guy's just making the whole circuit, isn't he? He's on Newsmax now.
have found a decomposing 8-foot, 300-pound Bigfoot in the Adirondack Mountains in New York. You've even christened him Dak. Tell us what you found and, how you came across this.
Absolutely crazy. But listen, guys, this is what Genesis 6 says. Then the people began to multiply on the earth, and daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw the beautiful women and took any they wanted as their wives. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not put up with humans for such a long time, for they are mortal flesh in the future. Their normal lifespan will be no more than 120 years. In those days, and for some time after, giant Nephilites lived on the earth. For whenever the sons of God had intercourse with women, they gave birth to children who became the heroes and famous warriors of ancient times. Nephilites. And what does that sound like? Human hybrids who were big and strong, and they destroyed everything. The Lord observed the extent of human wickedness on the earth and saw that everything that they thought or imagined was consistently totally evil. What if that is just a sign of things that happened long ago? That's crazy. So, guys, I'd love to know what you guys think. Is this completely a fraud or a fake? I'd love to know. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Love and appreciate you all. Have an amazing day, and God bless.
Wow. So, Bigfoot, real or not? I personally think the veil is definitely thinning. And we are definitely seeing stuff as in the days of Noah. Folks, we're here. You better strap on in and get ready. You better be ready.
Switching it up.